Hello everyone, this is Greyshot 17 here bringing you another Company Heroes to replay, brought to you by, again, skip this part if you want to know, Afro Panda. Yes, Afro Panda, thank you for submitting this replay. Versing Shane Gondol. Yeah, sure. Shan is what I'm going to be calling him. This is a 1v1 with decent ranks on Arhem Checkpoint. Now this map, very interesting, has like a nice urban city in the center of it. You can see here a nice courtyard, all sorts of cities for MGs and infantry to hide in. And then kind of if you keep going, there's it's more open territory. It was part of the, I believe the, what was it called? The Western Fronts thing that came out. I want to say, because this was part of no, maybe. Was this the British? I remember a British sniper rifle kind of shooting stuff. Or am I thinking of a completely different map? Anyway, I think it was part of the Western Front's release. There's been so many map releases that it's was that part of it? God, the only other game that I can tell you it's oh, this map came with this is probably Halo 3. After when Halo reached and the rest, I'm got me. But Halo 3, I remember pretty thoroughly what maps came with which map pack. But anyway, OKW versus USF. OKW has a great, and USF have great initial attack, but not great defensives. Because again, you can see here the OKW have a bunch of frontline infantry, either close or medium range, while riflemen are pretty much medium to long range and high attack power. But again, neither one starts off with MGs. The American starts off with a mortar, but again, you have a Kubel to counter. It's oh, wow, how does a Kubel good? Kubel can go around cut off territory. So while the mortar can be very effective for killing infantry, you then have to worry about your supply lines being cut off, which would give the OKW a boost to gain a resource. Fortunately, this building is a terrible idea. There's only one window shooting, so of course it's going to be instantly annihilated. Oh boy. Yeah, so we can see here he needs to capture this point, because even though you have the fuel, yeah, you need to capture it so that way you can, get those resources. Man, just saying. Just saying. Oh, look. Random Soviet boat that's been on every single map. Anyway, let's see now. So the Americans are capturing mid. They capture the right-hand side. They skip the fuel and just capturing random pieces of territory. I wonder if they're going to put a fighting position. You could, even though the enemy could probably run up here and get around. Oh, wait, no. Could? Yeah, they could easily come around here and get around. So we'll see what he does. With bigger open maps on 1v1s, it's hard to go fortification because that takes a lot of resources. What typically people do is they'll have roving armies, highly mobile groups that are designed to pretty much try to hit the enemy on multiple fronts and try to find a weak point. And again, it's you have to. If you have one giant army and or a giant defensive line, the enemy will just counter that by hitting you multiple fronts. And even though a defensive line will look great, the MG bunkers and Pac 43s and all that stuff aren't great for just being assaulted continuously. They're good for holding off an enemy, just off here or there, but not under continuous assault because they don't have a great defensive. Well, they don't have a ton for defensive purposes. Anyway, nice American mortar causing some OKW damage. We have Stern Pioneers on standby. Oh, nice flank coming in on these poor riflemen. They're going to be owned. Yeah, nice idea with cutting off. Because we can see here, this OKW guy's I'm capturing all the territory. And the American's no, we're going to cut you off. But they're going to get those resources. And right now, if they get that connected again, boy, oh boy, will they have a lot of resources. Especially munitions. Because again, both munition points will be under OKW control. Which will allow them to get STG-44s. Which will actually kind of help them out versus the American player. Now, American player, Afro, what are you going? You are going Lieutenant. Very good. The lieutenant's more inclined to be anti-infantry and supportive roles, although it does have some anti-armor capabilities. The 50 cal machine gun, which again has armor-piercing rounds capabilities, which I love, can actually kill Lukes. It's that strong. It can actually hurt light tanks, so I like that. The utility car is great for using a again, you get the bazookas, plus you can lay mines like key choke points, so very cool for placing mobile mines around the battlefield. And the AA half-track has actually good capabilities for fighting both infantry and light armor. It's just not designed for long range. If you get a Puma, the Puma's going to snipe it. But if you get a Luke's, if it can fire some of those higher caliber rounds, it can't hurt it. But right now, the OKW player looks like to be assaulting. This is a bad idea because they're in buildings. And I don't know about you, but these guys are just going to be picked off in the middle of town. Yeah, it's like, they're just being picked off. They can't do anything. They have no cover. They're being shot at by every single angle. You have the building over there, you have the infantry over here, and you have that building. So right now, there's no cover here. They're going to be annihilated. It's like, yeah, charge City Square, shot at all angles, retreat. That was a terrible attack plan. What I would have done is around here, because you can see here this cover. You can try to hide your sneaker infantry into this corner and do a lot of damage reversing the riflemen, because you have less guys who can shoot it. That's my recommendation anyway. But it looks like the riflemen are counterattacking and trying to retake territory. We'll see how well that goes. Right now the OKW player is getting some artillery, so that can be very effective. Plus, he put down a medical in his base, so his infantry will most likely be healed. And unfortunately, the American player doesn't have an ambulance, so he can't heal his health all the way up. So that's a big, big issue that could face long-term survivability. Also, yeah, let's get a guy in a building. This is why Sturm Pioneers are great. Not Sturm Pioneers, Volksgrenadiers, because you can literally throw a fire grenade and get him out of the building, which is what I would recommend. Now, unfortunately, this fighting position has warrior echelon in it, so they're just going to keep firing grenades left and right. Plus that mortar, that pesky mortar, which they did nerf, but it's still, it can still do a ton of damage if it gets a lucky shot, as shown. But you have 3 riflemen plus a lieutenant coming around the flank, and again, I love this. They're keeping the area choked off, so they need to capture this territory. The OKW player needs to launch a major offensive and recapture this territory, and now apparently this. I think I may be too close to the... Wow, okay. Very surprised that is being shot at, but oh well. The support gun literally hanging in the middle of them doing nothing. That sucks. The lieutenant has a bar which allows an increase in attack power, which is why it's doing so damn well. I guess he just retreated because, like, I don't need to fight this MG. But yeah, he needs to recapture this territory. Yeah, I would put MG like right around here or in the building to kind of make sure they don't get it. But yeah, big assault over here is what they need. What are you? Oh, you're dropping a 50 cal machine gun. Okay, cool. So, let's go over Doctrine's Airborne Company. Very good for calling in much needed supplies, whether an AT gun or a 50 cal machine gun. It'll just drop in. Be like, hey, what's up? There's a 50 cal. Then you reman it, and you'd be like, alright, let's hold this area down. And again, 50 cal machine gun good against light vehicles and infantry. So right now, Shang is not going to be doing all that well. Also, Jesus Christ, look at how much territory is being cut off. That's a really good American player. Now, also, you get some really heavy troops like paratroopers and some light recon troops like the Pathfinders. Even though they cost a lot, they're great because you can put down deployments that can reinforce paratroopers just in the front and also detect enemy infantry on the map. And then, of course, you get the P-47 rocket strafe, which is fantastic at just murdering armor from the skies. Shang went fortifications. This is a bad idea because right now he doesn't need he doesn't need to necessarily hold a defensive line. He needs to assault, and this doctrine is not great for assaulting an enemy team. It's more, yeah, it's more like locking down territory you already have, and he doesn't have that territory. So we'll see how things go. Left-hand side, we have the riflemen just capping territory with the 50 cal machine gun hiding in the building, making sure they don't come out. We know they're going to come here. They can't jump. It's so weird. You can't jump 10 feet in this game. You can't, like, go down there. You figure you could, but you can't. So, if I was him, I'd actually kind of move it over here, so you can kind of block all the guys coming in this way. It would only be, like, this area you have to cover, and the 50 cal machine gun could easily do that. That's a decent arc. Not as good as MG42, but not as bad as, like, the Maxim. Anyway, yeah, the OKW player, not getting a ton of resources, really needs more artillery, in my opinion, to kind of blast them out. Yeah, another support gun would be effective. Are you going to get that? I mean, that would be good. What else would be probably a good idea? Launching an assault probably to reclaim some of this territory would be a good idea. The problem is the American player just has way more... is doing a lot better job with the more limited infantry. You can see right now, again, these guys are not full health. And if the OKW player really focused on good tactics, he could probably take them out. But unfortunately, he's like, yeah, let's move my troops with barely any men against guys in heavy cover. And also artillery. I know a Verkenwerfer might be a decent idea because, again, you want to watch out for armor. But you need that artillery. I would kind of I would postpone the Verken Warfare for right now and get some more support guns. Because right now, the enemy just has the advantage because they're just like, hey, let's lock down City Square and use this as a staging point. And I don't blame them, because right now that's actually really helping them out. Look at the American players getting a ton of resources, but the OKW players like, I don't know what to do. Now, he's either going to try to put down a mechanized or a Panzer headquarters. Either one is a bad idea, because that's limiting your fuel and putting a lot more resources into something you don't have. Right now, this is a bad idea. That's 200 manpower and 50 to 120 fuel they would use for that. Not good. Not good. Huh. A nice idea with the MG, but again, you still have to worry about their mortar and also the ambulance, which is in City Square. I love this. Literally, they're just using this as a staging point of operation. Being like, alright, whatever. Woo-wee! Support can opening fire, but again, has a lot of targets and they have limited amounts. That's a really awesome MG. I mean, like, that's cool. You're trying to hit the guy, but there's just too much. Also, you can see here the mortar's being suppressed. Ambulance taking fire. Not much, actually. And it looks like the OKW are pushing in. So they may actually be able to take it. Also, armor-piercing rounds. Just saying. Major is like, I'm not a loser. I'll fire my, what, 1911 and hold them back. So yeah, it looks like the big push worked. Excuse me. Oh wow, nice artillery. What the fuck is that? Oh, that would be the Major calling down artillery. I've almost never seen the artillery actually get a kill. Wow. Alright. Rapid Barrage actually did something. Good for him. It looks like they're retaken. I actually would get out of the building and throw a fire grenade, but you know, that's me. Also, a Panzerschreck force, like a Storm Pioneer with a Panzerschreck, might be helpful. Might be helpful. Pathfinder's on standby. That's cool. I don't know what they're doing, but I guess getting a flank going. Right now, the American player, not a lot of manpower to reinforce a lot of his guys, although he's getting a tank. That would be, I mean, it's a good idea he got the Verken Warfare now. And, you know, good job for him for taking the point. But he really needs to start capturing more territory and then lock down this city area. Put the Verken Warfare in a building. Again, people forget, this thing can go in a building! And it can cover a wide area. Actually, like this building would be great. The church would be a good idea. Putting an MG in a building would be a good idea. And just have literally your troops walk up and take the territory. But right now, the OKW player is getting much needed supplies, which is very good for him. But I would actually start getting AT, because if you see a Major, you know they're getting armor. One of the most annoying things you could verse is a Sherman. Yeah, I mean, you have an MG, so that'll be difficult for them to bust. They don't have an AT gun. They do have a mortar, which could, of course, do a lot of damage, but as long as your support gun covers, you should be fine. But anyway. The OKW have taken Town Square. Can the Americans get it back? Maybe with some armor they can. Hey, Verken Warfare, maybe moving up would be a good idea. Because then if you move up, you can cover the entire city. Also, why would you not put the MG in a building? Seriously. Verken Warfare getting a nice shot on that Sherman. Sherman deploying smoke, I think? No, it was the mortar. The enemy mortar. What? I'm sorry. If you hear something in the background, that's just my cat climbing a window. Just ignore that. Anyway. Lieutenant pretty much taking the building, infantry pushing up. They still have the MG, but it's currently smoked, so they can't be seen. If I was... Oh, they're flanking. Cool. So they're trying to move around it. I don't know why you would put guys right in front of the MG, because they're going to be annihilated by that MG bunker. A lot of AT forces here. American coming around on the flank. Could throw a grenade, get him out of the building. Storm Pioneer trying to close the gap, use close range weapons to push him out. Lieutenant providing fire support. Mortar trying to knock out that bunker. That tank might be good if you come around the flank, kind of just hide from the Verken Warfare. Because he doesn't seem to know you can put him in buildings. Actually, it does seem to know you can put a lot of stuff in buildings. Anyway, bunker. Wow, nice job, Recamo, for maybe move that sucker up. Lieutenant getting actually a lot of vet points. Sherman just using just hit and run tactics, try to break that bunker, so that way allow infantry to roll up. Because right now, not a lot of cover. The cannon warfare is the only thing left. If the infantry really want to, they heal and then they push, and there would be nothing stopping them from really knocking out that AT gun and essentially collapsing the OKW's front. And the OKW is taking a lot of losses, but he's getting another MG. I'm sorry, not MG, for cannon warfare, and he's getting more frontline troops. That could help him, but he needs to A, move up the for cannon warfare closer, in my opinion. Because right now it could probably go another like 50 feet forward and do, you know, try to knock out that mortar because it has better range than the American mortar. By far, it has better range. Now let's see. You do have paratroopers, which you have on the flank. Why do you have? I mean, you can reinforce from it, as you can see. It's what he's doing. He's also getting bars. Maybe he's just trying to get a flank going. I'm not entirely sure. Pathfinders, again, decent attack power, but you definitely need to put them in heavy cover because otherwise it can be easily taken out. Sherman just saying what's up and rolling up. Again, you can see here explosive rounds. This is the problem with no infantry covering, because then they can just circle your stuff and just murder it. Also, a 50 cal machine gun on top doing more damage. Explosive shots, really hurting infantry. And you got yourself a Luke's. What? Okay, first off, you went mechanized. Secondly, then you got yourself a Luke's. What the hell is a Luke's gonna do against a Sherman? I wish you the best of luck, dude, but that is a tank and versus a tank does not equal success. You have to know what type of tank. A light tank cannot handle a medium tank, especially a medium tank more designed to fight Panzer IVs, not Panzer IIs. That's right, that's a Panzer II, right? Yeah, Panzer II. I'm like, wait, am I wrong? Yeah. Anyway, so right now I don't know. Oh, okay, go around, try to kill that stuff. If he actually armor-piercing rounds and gets a decent shot on you, you're screwed. I'm just pointing that out. Or if he sends the Sherman to go murder you. Did you switch to armor-piercing rounds? Yes, you did. So that was a good shot on its rear, and say goodbye. That was a great move. Fantastic. Again, no infantry support, no nothing. Again, if you send armor, make sure you have support it. The American player has been making sure he's always had stuff with it, so that's just me. And I think this game's over. I think the OKW pretty much launched his last big assault. I don't see much going on. Oh, overall, interesting battle for City Square. I think, funny enough, the OKW should not have done that. I think the OKW should have tried to pull the American out of his hard point and kind of annihilated him instead of fighting tooth and nail over center square. Because even though it's a very important point, the American was winning by resources more than just combat skill. And especially if you would have got more artillery to just hit that in the meantime, you could have really pushed around the flanks and taken territory, which probably would have allowed you to win. Because again, you had close range and medium range forces. Why did you try to ambush him? But if you kind of attack a hard point, you can't really ambush. So there's that. Paratroopers just saying, nuh-uh, you're not taking this point. Just get away. More paratroopers again getting reinforced by the beacon, which were put down by Pathfinders. Very, very good. Anyway. Once again, big assault in mid. Yeah, let's just send the support units up with no cover and watch them get utterly annihilated. Do I think it's the OKW's fault? No. But I feel like, again, he should have probably focused on... he should have went around the flank instead of hitting mid. Because this just turned to a slaughtering ground for the OKW player. Wow, nice support gun hit. Problem is, with explosive rounds and infantry support, that Stern Pioneer is not going to do all that much. And right now, army-wise, Shang has half the army that the American player has. And there's no way he's going to be able to push up and take 2 points, let alone just a single point. Or even move past a single point. setting up beacons. Very cool, so you can detect enemy forces in the area. We have a big push going in for mid. It's not going to work. Explosive rounds doing a lot of damage. Man, that Sparkle's doing quite a lot of damage versus that Sherman. Oh, that Sherman is in need of some help. And it survived. Good job, Sherman. Good job. Probably might have died, but the infantry would have been so weak, it probably would. They would have been unable to attack mid. But that's game. Let's look at the damage. 10,000 damage and 76 kills. Only 29 losses for the American player. And like, flip that for the OKW player. Jesus, that's a lot of losses. But overall, that's a nice short, low game. And it's a nice refresher instead of getting a gigantic clustered 4v4 to have a nice smaller 1v1 now and again. But in any case, that is game. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys submit those replays. If you don't know how to do it, just search how to send a CH2 replay on my channel. I want to thank my patrons, supporters like Leo, Tim, Sean, and Hercules. By the way, this has been Greyshot17, and I'll see you guys next time.